Now, while we have done this sky, I'd like to take some of that same color and bring it down into the foreground where I know there's going to be a spill and a shadow from the rock and a little shadow underneath the foam, possibly right in here on the wave. I'm just thinking ahead, you see. And that's enough for now. I've allowed this portion to dry in here, and you can see it did run down into the rock area, but that's all right because, you know, the water does flow, the colors do flow. You don't want to just separate your background from your foreground and so on. But before we go on to this rock, let's get in our background sea, and let's get in this wave, and then we can concentrate more on the rock. I'm going to use a round brush, and I've dipped into ultramarine blue and viridian, and I want this to be fairly dark, so I stay above the rock right in here, and you see I'll make background swells not really showing a horizon line. There we go, sort of thing like this, and come right on across the top of this wave here. Make them long and slender. Don't make little chops or rounded things. Long, slender, pointy swells. Much more effective. Much more real. And I'll come back with just water on my brush. Clean water. And let these fade out at the bottom a bit. Like that. So they aren't harsh lines everywhere. That should do it for that part. Now remember in our first lesson how we make a translucent look? Well, we'll do that again here. We're just going to put in ultramarine blue and viridian at the bottom of the wave. And then wash the brush. Remember? Wash the brush so it is clean and work that color upward. A little ways, wash the brush again till it's clean. Bring that on up, lighter and lighter, brush again, real clean, and there you go. The gradual dark coming up to light, giving the translucent look. We need to come over here and do the same. I'd like to explain now here's what I've been doing with my rock and show you. Everything has a local color, whether it's a red tin can or green grass or in this case a brown rock. Now that brown rock is just brown until the sun comes out. When the sun comes out, it'll be either yellow or orange or something of that nature. And if it's yellow, then you add yellow to the color, that is, yellow to the local color. And then the shadow of that will be the opposite. If it's yellow, it would go to a purple shadow. Purple added to your atmosphere. There's also what is called bounced light. You have a little reflected light on the other side. So therefore you have light and shadow and reflected light. On the very, very top, the atmosphere will reflect down. If it's a blue sky, then you're reflecting blue. If it's a pale blue or it's an orangey sunset sky, you add whatever that is above it. The French Impressionists discovered all of this that we're talking about, and here's an example of atmosphere. Up close, you have a local color, and as it recedes, it changes. It gets bluer and bluer and bluer if the atmosphere is blue. Now, if it were another color, if the atmosphere or sky was light blue, then it would fade into light blue. If it was very, very dark, it would fade into dark blue. But everything in distance changes from its brightest to the actual atmospheric color. So this could apply to trees, different colors of course, but apply to trees, buildings, waves, rocks, whatever. They all change into the color of atmosphere eventually. In other words, if you want to lighten something in the distance, as I get further and further over towards the wave, I'm going to make it a bit warmer. Why? Not because I want to reverse the warmth advances and the cool recedes so much here, as I want you to know that this is more visible and more interesting. So I'm using color to grab your attention. You see, we have green here. If I go to its opposite color, red, that will grab your attention far more than the blue to green, which are adjacents. Okay, so we'll put in some nice warms in here, just a flick now and then of some reds, and that's a little much, so when you have a little too much, you come back with some mauve. Let's see, where are we here? We want to make sure we're getting sides and tops. All right, oh yes, here we go. There's a spill in here, so this is a rock. Well, this actually comes down. Here we go. There's a side of a rock. Needs a little blue. I'm going to add some cerulean blue in here, just so it isn't all red. And then it gets darker again away from the center of interest. Thusly. And we can repeat this one over here. Now let's go back to this one. Again, as it's close to this green portion of the wave, let's get some red going in here. And then cool it down immediately with some blue. Now this will separate it from this rock. Cross that over. Now you see we're going to have tops and sides all the way across. Let's see, a little more here. And once again, soften it at the bottom. In both cases here, just a little water on your brush, put it down on the clean paper and work upward. You see, we'll soften that edge. Notice also, for this spill, it's nice and large. For here, I've left white paper as a trickle. So now we'll have a couple of large spill areas and a trickle, and then I'm going to show you a little trick.